My beloved child, at this very moment there is a spiritual reality unfolding all around you, though the natural eye cannot perceive it. You may think you are simply sitting in a familiar room, yet the heavenly realm is trembling with prayers, with groanings, and with invisible arrows aimed toward your soul. I do not want you to walk like the blind in a world full of light, nor do I want you to collapse amid traps that seem harmless but slowly erode your faith. That is why I speak to you today, not to sow fear, but to awaken and strengthen you. For I know well that within your heart lie long dormant desires, dreams once ablaze now, reduced to embers and tears that have not yet found their voice. I come to stir them once more like the wind rippling the still waters, like fire breathing life into fading coals. Do not think that. My divine presence is reserved only for those called saints or for those who claim visions. The truth is, you too are covered by love and protection from above. When you walk through crowded streets, there is an unseen hand shielding you from unexpected harm. When you sleep in the night, there is a surrounding power guarding your soul from the darkness that seeks to imprison you. Psalm 91 declares, "He will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." That is not merely poetic language, but a living promise active even now. Though your eyes cannot see it, that protection is real, and it is proof that your life carries a worth far greater than you imagine. I know what troubles you. If divine protection is real, why have you still endured pain, stumbled, and tasted disappointment? Listen closely, for the answer is not found in dry reasoning, but in the wisdom of love. The hand of heaven does not promise to remove every hardship, but it does promise that not a single tear will be wasted. Each time you fall, heavenly strength is present to turn the fall into a lesson, the wound into a testimony, the darkness into a platform for greater light. Just as a seed must break open before it can sprout, you too must pass through trials so that the strength within can be revealed. Do not fear your weakness, for in weakness my power is made perfect. 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. You are never alone in this battle, for every step you take is watched over by an unfailing love. Remember the times when you thought you could not go on, yet you still rose to your feet. That was not coincidence, but the mark of my presence silently lifting you. You once believed you survived by your own willpower, but without strength from above, would you have endured those darkest nights? I want you to see this truth. You are not insignificant in heaven's eyes. You are chosen, you are seen, and you are loved with a love that knows no conditions. When the world measures you by achievements, possessions, or status, I look at you through the worth of your soul, a treasure that nothing can purchase or replace. You are part of a grand design, and your existence is no accident. You may feel that such promises are too distant, that the weary weight of daily life has blurred them away. Yet it is within that very weariness that my love shines clearer. Pause and recall the ordinary moments, a smile from a stranger, a timely act of kindness, a flicker of hope when despair seemed certain. These are signs that you have never been abandoned. What may seem trivial are the subtle words of heaven, reminding you how precious your life truly island. If you open your heart, you will see that each day carries traces of divine intervention, like threads weaving together a radiant tapestry you cannot yet see in full. My child, do not deny the truth that you are surrounded by unfading love. If you are still breathing, your purpose still remains. If you are still hearing these words, your journey is not finished. And if there is still within you a longing to live, to love, and to hope, then that is heaven's whisper reminding you that I have never let you go. My dear child, I know your heart has often asked, why do I still feel alone even when I hear of heaven's protection? I want you to understand that feelings do not always reflect reality. There are days when the sky looks dark, yet the sun still shines behind thick clouds. In the same way, my divine presence continues to cover your life, even when your soul cannot sense it. What matters is that you learn to see with the eyes of faith, not merely through limited senses. Scripture reminds us, "For we walk by faith, not by sight," 2 Corinthians 5:7. Faith is the door that allows you to perceive my unseen hand, to realize that in every smallest moment you are upheld by everlasting love. Many times you have thought, if there truly is protection, then why have I endured the wounds of the past, the bitter taste of failure? But my child, I want you to see it differently. It is those very scars that shaped your resilience, those dark nights that deepened your longing for light. If you had never fallen, how would you learn the strength of rising again? If you had never known loneliness, how could you treasure the value of true love? Suffering does not deny. My presence, it reveals that my companionship is stronger than you realize. From the ashes I have planted new seeds within you, and out of your pain, a new hope will rise, radiant and enduring. You must know that in the unseen realm, countless dangers have been stopped before they could ever touch you. You cannot count the accidents delayed, the threats diverted, the traps dismantled. Though unseen battles have been fought in heaven just to keep your soul from being torn apart. This is why every day you live is clear evidence that love from above is at work. Remember, Psalm 3:4-7 declares, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them." You are not alone in this journey, and this protection makes you a living testimony of boundless mercy. My beloved, there are moments when you think what you do is small and meaningless. But know this, every act of kindness, every sincere prayer, every time you choose love over bitterness, they all echo in eternity. You do not see it, but each righteous decision you make is like a ray of light piercing the night, causing darkness to tremble and retreat. Do not underestimate small choices, for they are the stones that pave your path of destiny. When you choose forgiveness, you break unseen chains. When you choose honesty, you build a wall of defense around your soul. When you choose gratitude, you open the door for blessings to pour in. I see it all, and I rejoice each time you choose to walk in the light. Think of life as a river. There are sharp bends with hidden rocks, stretches of rushing waters that stir fear, yet also calm waters that mirror the sky above. I do not promise you only the still waters, but I do promise you will never be swept away if you hold fast to me. I am the living water that quenches your deepest thirst, the solid rock you can cling to when you feel weak. Believe that no matter where you are on the journey, there is always a hand reaching out to keep you safe. My child, hear this for your encouragement. You are not a product of chance nor a wanderer without meaning in this vast universe. From the moment you were knit together in your mother's womb, I knew your name. I saw every drop of blood coursing through your veins, and I placed within you a unique purpose no one else can replace. The world may dismiss you, others may not understand you, but I never will. That is why heaven's protection is not a random privilege, but a vital part of my long-term plan for you. Take hold of this truth and let it lift you daily. You are loved, you are kept, and you are destined to walk in abundant life. I want you to grasp that protection from above is not only to shield you from harm, but also to guide you toward a greater purpose. Life is not simply about avoiding pain, but about growing and becoming a light in a darkened world. I do not keep you in a glass box, for then you would never discover the strength I have placed inside you. Instead, I allow you to face challenges so that courage may be forged, faithfulness revealed, and trust deepened. Just as gold must pass through fire to be refined, so your soul must walk through trials to shine with eternal brilliance. And in every trial, my presence has never departed. I remain with you, guarding and upholding you every step of the way. My beloved child, you often think that the goal of life is to avoid mistakes, but I tell you this, it is through stumbling that your soul becomes wise. A child learning to walk cannot mature without falling and rising many times. In the same way, you will not truly grasp grace until you recognize your own imperfection. You will not understand the value of forgiveness until you yourself need it. You will not know the depth of kindness until you have tasted it from me. Therefore, do not be ashamed of weakness. Do not condemn yourself when you fall, for these are moments that open the door for my love to be revealed. Psalm 145:14 says, "The Lord upholds all who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down." That promise still resounds today. In the moments when you think you have been forgotten, heaven is still at work on your behalf. You may not see the invisible arrangements, yet they are moving with precision. A friend unexpectedly calls to check, in a small opportunity arises right when you need it, or even a sudden thought flashes through your mind that saves you from a grave mistake. These are not accidents. They are the orchestration of my promises and divine protection. Open the eyes of faith, and you will see that you are never wandering aimlessly, but always being guided in every detail. Even when you think you are walking in wearisome circles, the truth is, every step is leading you closer to the fullness I have destined for you. Do you know why I remain patient with you? Because I see not only who you are now, but also who you are becoming. I see a person stronger, steadier, and more hopeful, taking shape with each passing day. I see within you seeds of courage, of compassion, and of unshakable faith. Each time you choose to continue, even if it is only one small step, those seeds are watered and nourished. And one day you will look back and realize that what once seemed meaningless has become the very foundation of who you are today. My dear child, do not let the world steal your true identity with lies that you are useless or ordinary. The truth is, you were created in the image of the Creator. Genesis 1:2-7. This means within you lies beauty, value, and creative power that reflect Him. The world may try to define you by shallow measures, but I want you to know no human word can erase the truth of who you are. You are so precious that my only Son gave His life to redeem you. That love is not a distant idea. It is the foundation of every breath you take. Rise up with confidence that you are not lost, not meaningless, not insignificant. You are a light in the darkness, a living testimony that grace triumphs over failure. Every day you keep walking, you are adding your part to the great symphony of heaven's design. And when you feel small, remember, even a single ray of light is enough to dispel the night. You are that light in the place where I have set you. My beloved, I want you to realize that life is not merely a cycle of work, responsibilities, and familiar routines. Behind the rhythm that seems ordinary, unseen movements are shaping your future. The visible world your eyes perceive is only the surface of a greater picture. Behind it lies spiritual warfare schemes of darkness, attempting to steal your faith, your joy, and your peace. But there are also heavenly strategies where angels labor without ceasing to guard, to guide, and to remind you of your true identity. You cannot stand outside this battle, for your soul is the very prize sought by both darkness and light. You may have felt sudden stirrings within an unease when you justify a harmful habit, a gentle inner voice urging you to stop when you step onto the wrong path, or a strong impulse to do good when no one is watching. These are not fleeting emotions, but signs that heaven is prompting you. I want you to learn to discern this guidance, for without discernment, you will easily fall into the trap of indifference. And indifference is the most dangerous enemy, for it causes you to live like one sleepwalking, wasting the precious days I have given you. My beloved child, imagine your soul as a garden. If you do not plant good seeds, weeds will grow on their own. If you do not water it with prayer and gratitude, the soil will dry and crack. If you do not tend each root with truth, lies will creep in and take their place. You cannot expect a flourishing garden if you leave it unattended each day. In the same way, You cannot expect your inner life to be strong if you allow it to be overrun by lifeless screens, negative words, or doubts that gnaw at your heart. You must choose what to sow. Every prayer, every verse of scripture you read, every small act of love, each is a seed that falls to the ground. You may not see the result immediately, but trust that the harvest will surely come, for whatever one sows, that will he also reap. Galatians 6:7. You need to know that my divine presence does not come to make you comfortable, but to awaken you. Awakening may unsettle you at first, for it strips away the layers of safety you cling to. It is like stepping into cold water. It makes you shiver at the beginning, but once you adjust, life and strength flow back into you. Let this awakening lead you out of dry lands so that you may discover the fountain of life still flowing within. As you begin to respond, you will notice harmful habits losing their grip, toxic relationships fading away, and healthy desires springing back to life. My dear child, I do not call you to carry burdens alone. The strength I give does not come from your efforts to save yourself, but from your surrender into my hands. When you pray, it is not to prove your piety, but to open your heart for me to enter. When you listen to my word, it is not to store up knowledge, but to let your soul be healed. When you love, it is not for recognition, but to reflect my image. This is how you turn the garden of your soul into a place where life blossoms. And once your soul is strong, you will see the world around you begin to change as well. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. I have placed around you people, circumstances, and even angels to uphold you. You must open your eyes to recognize them, open your heart to receive them, and open your mouth to declare your faith. When you do, you will see each small step become part of a greater journey, and each right decision become a stone in the path of destiny. My beloved, understand that inner transformation does not always arrive with thunder or dazzling miracles as you might expect. More often, it unfolds quietly and gently, like the dawn light slowly entering through the window, driving away the night's darkness. It is through these small and silent shifts that you are being reshaped day by day into the person I envisioned from the beginning. Do not despise these hidden steps, for this is how I inscribe eternal life into your heart. When you choose love instead of resentment, forgiveness instead of bitterness, prayer instead of avoidance, you are releasing a powerful ripple in the unseen realm. I see every small moment, and I rejoice, for they open the doors to a new season in your life. The world often defines human worth by achievements, degrees, status, wealth, or fame, but I declare that true value does not lie in these fading things, but in the soul. Your soul is a treasure no silver or gold can compare with. Jesus once asked, "For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?" Mark 8:3-6. Because your soul carries eternal value, I care for every detail, every feeling, every choice in your life. I do not want you to trade the eternal for the temporary. I do not want you to abandon true joy for fleeting pleasures, or sacrifice peace beyond understanding for the approval of men. You must learn discernment to recognize what comes from the light and what is only a cleverly disguised trap. You often think transformation will only come after great events, dramatic miracles, or extraordinary moments. But I want you to know that the deepest changes usually spring from small habits practiced daily. An honest prayer in the morning, a few verses of scripture repeated, a word of gratitude written when you are weary, or a kind gesture to a stranger. These are seeds you sow. Just as steady drops of water eventually carve into solid rock, so too will these faithful actions gradually reshape your soul, making it tender, pure, and steadfast. I do not expect you to become perfect in a day, but I rejoice in every step of daily faithfulness, for I know they will lead to an abundant harvest. My beloved, never forget that your transformation is not only for you, but for those who are watching, even if they never say a word. When the light within you shines, it will touch your family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers passing by. Your smile can bring hope to the weary. Your words of encouragement can lift a soul on the verge of collapse. Your act of kindness can be the rope pulling someone out of despair. Never underestimate your influence, for I have set you as a lamp to shine in the dark, and through you many will find their way back. My beloved child, I know there are days when you feel weary, wondering if all your efforts are in vain. You ask yourself, do my sacrifices matter? Are my prayers being heard? But I want you to remember this: not a single drop of sweat is wasted, not a single prayer is ignored, not a single act of kindness is meaningless. I see them all, and I weave them into the greater picture I am painting for your life. You may not yet see the outcome, but be patient, for the harvest will surely come. The promise of Galatians 6:9 still holds true. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Stand firm and do not let trials shake you. I have given you the strength to resist being swept away by the turbulent currents of this world. Do not be afraid when you find yourself going against the flow, for in that very contrast you are reflecting the light. Hold tightly to faith, for faith is the key that opens doors reason cannot unlock. And remember, each time you choose to stand with truth, heaven rejoices because you are walking in the very purpose I ordained for you from the beginning. My child, I want you to know that true transformation is not a destination but a journey. You do not need to wait for perfection to begin, for every small step today is already part of the change. I do not look at your shortcomings as proof of failure, but as signs that you are alive, still being shaped, still moving forward. Do not think your stumbles mean distance from me, for each time you return, my arms are open to receive you. Remember my promise in John 1:9, if we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. This means no mistake is too great to block my love, and no pit is too dark to hide from the light of my grace. Look back and see that you have never been alone. In the moments you thought you could not rise again, a strength beyond yourself carried you forward. When you thought all was over, a new door opened unexpectedly. When you sat weeping in the dark, a strange hope flickered in your heart. None of these were accidents. They were proof that I never left you, and that I have been guiding your steps each day. Even when you could not see, heaven was at work. Even when you could not hear, my voice still whispered in the depths of your soul. You must remember that everything you endure has a purpose. No sorrow is wasted, no trial unnecessary. I use them to train you, to prepare you for a greater mission. Think of Joseph in Scripture, sold into slavery, falsely accused, imprisoned. Yet in the end he rose to save an entire nation. Genesis 5:20. Without the rugged path, Joseph would never have become the man I intended. In the same way, your struggles are not meant to destroy you, but to build you. They are the foundation upon which you will stand, the preparation that will allow you to comfort and strengthen others in the future. I know there are still things you do not understand, questions in your heart with no answers yet, but you do not need to hold every explanation. What I desire from you is trust and surrender. When you do not know the way, let me lead. When you cannot see the future, let me open it before you. When you tremble at the crossroads, remember that I was already there before your first step. Sometimes the silence you feel is not absence, but an invitation to trust more deeply. Let your heart rest in this truth. I am faithful, and I will never leave unfinished the work I have begun for you. My faithfulness to you is unchanging. Though you may change, I do not. Though you may turn away, I still wait. Though you may grow weak, I still uphold you. Though you may doubt, I still reveal my love. I do not love you because you are perfect. I love you because you are mine. That identity can never be stolen. Therefore, lay down the burden of guilt, release the chains of shame, and silence the lies that have bound you for too long. Step into freedom, for where my spirit is, there is liberty. 2 Corinthians 3:17. Rise with renewed faith. Do not look at your past as a sentence, but as a teacher. Do not let failures define you, but let them equip you. Do not let your wounds be chains, but let them become testimonies. I chose you, not because you were strong, but because in your weakness, my power is revealed. Believe that you are not merely a survivor, but a victor. And with every step of trust, you are drawing nearer to the great plan I have designed for you. My beloved child, I want you to understand that your soul was never created for mediocrity, but to walk in a sacred mission. You were not placed in this world merely to exist, to chase fleeting goals that vanish like grass in the field. You are called to be light, to reflect love and truth in a world filled with lies and shadows. This does not mean you must become perfect overnight, but it does mean that every step you take carries eternal value. When you smile at the brokenhearted, when you reach out to the weak, when you stand firm in honesty, even at a cost, you are revealing my image. Remember, Jesus said, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." Matthew 5:14. This is not only a word for others, but for you today. I know there have been days when you felt too small to make any difference. You asked yourself, is what I do big enough to change anything? But I tell you, this light does not need to be great to drive out darkness. Even a single candle is enough to brighten a whole room. You do not need fame, power, or the recognition of people to live out your calling. You only need to be faithful in the little things, and I will expand your influence in my appointed time. Believe this, even a whispered prayer, even an unseen act of kindness, carries the power to shake eternity. Just as the poor widow gave only 2 coins, yet Jesus praised her for giving more than all the others, because she gave with her whole heart. Luke 2:1-4. So too, I want you to see that true value is not measured by size or scale, but by sincerity and love. Look back at the path you have already walked. There were days when you thought you could not take another step, and yet you kept moving. There were nights you cried alone, and yet in the morning you rose to continue. There were moments when you thought your prayers vanished into the air, and yet help came at just the right time. These are the signs that you have never been alone. I walked with you then, and I am walking with you still. Learn to look back with gratitude, for gratitude will open your eyes to the quiet miracles happening each day. When you give thanks, you will recognize that what seems ordinary is actually proof of my unfailing love, your breath, your daily bread, your family and friends. All of these are blessings, and when you see them for what they are, you will no longer live as if poor, but as an heir of abundant grace. My child, remember that faith is not the absence of difficulty, but the peace that holds steady in the midst of it. Faith is not never trembling, but continuing forward even while trembling. Faith is not seeing the whole road ahead, but trusting that I go before you, holding your hand at every step. That is why I allow you to face circumstances beyond your strength, so you may learn to lean on mine instead of your own. Think of Israel standing before the Red Sea. They could not escape the enemy's pursuit by themselves, but when they placed their trust in me, the waters parted to make a way. Exodus 14. So it will be for you. The walls you think cannot be crossed will turn into doors opening wide when you place your trust in me. Never forget you are a vital part of the masterpiece I am painting. Every day you live, every choice you make is a stroke of the brush in that great picture. At times you only see dark patches and tangled lines, but I see the whole, an artwork unfolding in beauty. All you need to do is be patient, trust, and keep walking. As you remain faithful in small steps, I will transform the ordinary into extraordinary, and I will turn your life into a living testimony of unfailing love. My beloved, I want you to remember that the journey of faith was never designed for you to walk alone. You are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. As Hebrews 1:21 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." You not only have my companionship, but also the encouragement of those who went before you, the service of angels, and the fellowship of brothers and sisters in faith. Do not think of yourself as solitary in this battle. The truth is, all of heaven is cheering for you, urging you to rise after every fall, rejoicing when you choose to walk in the light. I know there are times when you feel weak, believing you do not have the strength to continue. But it is in your weakness that my power shines most brightly. If you thought yourself strong enough, you would have no need for me. But when you confess your helplessness, you open the door for me to work. As Paul experienced and testified, "For when I am weak, then I am strong." 2 Corinthians 1:2-10. Do not be afraid of your weariness. Do not be ashamed of your trembling. They are opportunities for me to reveal my power and mercy. When you hand me your brokenness, I will turn it into the foundation for healing. When you give me your fragments, I will piece them together into a picture more beautiful than before. Do not think I only care about the major choices of your life. In truth, I care even for the smallest details, how you treat your loved ones, how you keep honesty in your work, how you make room for stillness. It is within these details that faith is shaped. Like a farmer who patiently sows seeds, tends the soil, and waits for harvest, so too must you patiently plant goodness into every ordinary moment. A kind word today may comfort someone years from now. A seemingly small right choice can alter the entire course of a life. You may never know the impact of the little things, but I know, and I am using them to weave together my greater plan for you. My child, I know you sometimes compare yourself to others, thinking you are not good enough, not talented enough, not strong enough. But remember, you were never created to be a copy of anyone else. You were made uniquely with gifts, personality, and a journey that no one else can replicate. When you try to be someone else, you miss the true purpose I gave you. I have placed within you something the world cannot replace: your voice, your heart, your story. The world needs you, because no one else can take your place in the grand design I am completing, my beloved child. Learn to lift your head and look forward rather than always staring back at the past. The past may teach you lessons, but it must never define you. Yesterday's failures cannot determine tomorrow's victories. Past mistakes cannot bind your future destiny. Remember my promise: behold, I make all things new. Revelation 2:1-5. If I created the heavens and the earth, can I not also renew your life? Believe this, a new chapter is being written more beautiful than anything you ever imagined. All you need to do is keep walking, keep trusting, and keep letting me lead. My child, I want you to remember that inner transformation is never a short journey. It is like a season of sowing. You cannot expect fruit overnight. You must be patient, trusting that every seed hidden in the soil will rise at the appointed time. I am never in a hurry, yet I am always on time. Many times you grow restless because you do not see results, but in those very silent days, roots are pushing deep to prepare for the harvest. Do not give up when you see no fruit yet, for I have promised. In all things, God works for the good of those who love Him. Romans 8:2-8. Each step of faithfulness you take adds to the masterpiece I am weaving for your life. I know there are burdens you still carry, regrets from the past, doubts about yourself, fears about the future. You think these things define you, but I tell you they hold no power over you. The past cannot chain your present when you surrender it to me. Mistakes are no longer punishments, but testimonies. Wounds are no longer weights, but sources of comfort for others. I turn ashes into beauty, tears into seeds of joy. As Psalm 3:05 says, weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. Believe that a new dawn always awaits you, no matter how long the night. Never forget I have given you the power of choice. This freedom is a sacred gift, but also a great responsibility. Each day you can choose truth or deception. You can choose to walk in the light or remain in the dark. You can choose forgiveness or cling to bitterness. These choices shape your soul more deeply than you realize. I will never force you, for love cannot be coerced. But I will always invite you, always set before you, the way of life and the way of death, just as it is written. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and death, curses. Now choose life. Deuteronomy 3:0-1-9. My child, choose life, for it is the path to true freedom. Lift up your head and see how far you have already come. Too often you focus only on what you have not yet achieved, forgetting the journey you have survived. You rose after countless falls, kept walking when strength seemed gone, held faith when everything around you whispered doubt. That is no small thing. It is proof that my grace is at work in you. I see your perseverance, and I say to you, not one effort is wasted. All is being woven into a story of hope, not only for you, but for those who will be touched through your life. My beloved, I want you to realize that your transformation is an invitation to others. When they see you living in freedom, they will long for that same freedom. When they see you standing firm in the storm, they will seek the strength you carry. When they see you loving even those who hurt you, they will know, my love is real. You need not persuade anyone with arguments. Your very life will be the evidence. Let your light shine not for your glory, but so that all may glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:1-6. This is the noble mission I have entrusted to you, to be a living testimony to the world. I know there will be times when you stumble again, when doubts return, when you feel powerless. Yet I am not discouraged by this. My love does not rest on your perfection, but on my unchanging character. I will lift you up, call you by name, and lead you forward. Like the merciful Father who embraced the prodigal son, I will hold you in my arms whenever you return. You are never too far for my love to reach, never too broken for my grace to heal, never too insignificant for me to use for good. My child, I want you to know that some doors remain open only for a short time, and you must be awake enough to step through them. Many times I have prepared opportunities, but you hesitated out of fear, out of distraction, or out of clinging to lesser things and missed them. I do not condemn you, but I want you to see that hesitation can steal blessing. You were created to walk in courage, not in anxiety. I have given you a spirit of power, love, and self-control, 2 Timothy 1:7. This means you have all you need to face challenges and the wisdom to discern between doors I open and traps disguised by the enemy. Remember, delay is not always bad, for at times I delay intentionally to prepare you. But there is a great difference between waiting in faith and postponing in fear. Waiting in faith is standing firm though you see nothing, still trusting that I am at work. Postponing in fear is knowing what is right but turning away, letting your heart grow numb. My child, discern this in your heart, for every choice leads to a different outcome. I do not want you to live in regret, but to walk boldly, so that one day you may say, I was faithful to follow the call. My beloved child, I see how often you try to find absolute safety before taking a step, but you must understand true safety is not found in having every answer, but in trusting me. Just as Abraham was called to leave his homeland without knowing where he was going, yet obeyed Hebrews 1:18, and through his obedience became the father of many nations, so too you will never see the whole picture before you begin. But when you dare to step out in faith, you will see me open the way one step at a time. You do not need to see the entire canvas. You only need to take my hand and walk in the light I have given you. I know you fear making mistakes, fear choosing the wrong path, fear losing opportunities. But let me assure you, even if you take the wrong turn, I know how to bring you back. Like a father who sees his child wander, I will find you, hold you, and lead you home. Mistakes cannot destroy the plan I have for you as long as you are willing to return. Do not let fear paralyze you. Mistakes can be redeemed, but blessings lost to fear are far harder to recover. Remember, I can turn even what was meant for harm into good, even detours into stepping stones toward your purpose. Through every season of your life, I provide daily manna for you. Like Israel in the wilderness, who could not store up for a week, but received what they needed each day. Exodus 16, so it is with you. I do not promise you all the answers now, but I promise you will always have enough for today. Tomorrow, I will provide it again. Abundance does not come from stockpiling, but from trusting. Learn to live in the present moment, for today is the day I have given you to rejoice and be glad. When you stop worrying about tomorrow and remain faithful today, peace will overflow within you. Remember, the door I open is not only to lead you into blessing, but also to lead you out of what no longer fits. Often you cling too tightly to a relationship, a habit, or an environment that drains you. But letting go is not loss, it is freedom. Only when you release can you make room for the new. I have prepared healthier connections, greater opportunities, richer soil. But if you refuse to leave the old, you will never enter the new. My child, I know there are times when you feel too small to make a difference. But remember Nehemiah, who rebuilt Jerusalem's wall by faithfulness, day by day, brick by brick. Remember David, just a shepherd boy who faced Goliath in faith and delivered an entire nation. You do not need extraordinary strength for me to use you. You need only a willing heart. Give me what is in your hand, and I will multiply it into a miracle. Take courage and walk through the door I open for you. Do not look back with regret nor around in comparison. Fix your eyes on me and move forward. This door is not only for you, but for those whose lives will be touched through yours. As you step out, blessings will flow through your life, reaching family, friends, and even strangers. Remember, you do not live for yourself alone, but for a greater purpose, and the door I open leads you deeper into that calling. My beloved, understand that when I open a door, it does not mean the path ahead will be easy. Often it is marked with trials, for only in adversity is the treasure within you awakened. I do not open the way for you to remain comfortable, but for you to step out and discover the strength I have placed inside. Remember Israel, after the sea parted, they did not enter the promised land at once, but journeyed through the wilderness. There their faith was tested, their hearts refined, their identity formed. In the same way, the door I open may lead into unfamiliar ground, but that is the very place where your soul will grow strong. Do not be surprised if beyond the door lie challenges that seem impossible. Those very challenges will separate the curious from the committed. As you remain faithful, I will supply the strength to endure. Just as Jesus fasted 40 days in the wilderness before beginning his ministry, facing temptation yet overcoming by the word, you too must hold fast to my word. Use it to resist voices of doubt, to stand firm when the world says you cannot. The truth is this: if I open the way, no power can close it. But you must cling to my promises, for they are your weapon in difficult days. When you step through the door, remember that what I seek is not perfection, but faithfulness. I do not ask that you never fall, but that you rise each time you do. I do not demand you know every detail, but that you trust me with every step. As you persevere, you will see my wonders unfold. Just as a seed must be buried in darkness before it can sprout, so you too must endure seasons of mystery before new life emerges. And when you look back, you will see that those very trials prepared you for a fruitful harvest. Do not compare your journey to anyone else's. The door I open for you is unique, and no one else can walk through it in your place. Each person has their own timing, their own context, their own purpose. Comparison will only drain your strength and steal your joy. Believe that my plan for you is good, tailored perfectly for your life. As Jeremiah 29:11 declares, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." You need not chase another's path, simply walk in the rhythm I place in your heart. There you will find freedom and peace the world cannot give. And remember this, what I do through you is not only for you, but for those around you. Every door you step through brings light to others. Your family will be blessed, your friends encouraged, even strangers touched by your life. Do not underestimate this influence. You are called not only to receive blessing, but to become a blessing. When you walk faithfully in your calling, you will be as a spring of water in the desert, a living testimony that grace is real and love can transform a life. Never forget, the door I open is never random. It has been prepared within my plan since before you were born. Every detail of your life, even mistakes, wounds, and losses, has been woven into this moment. Nothing is wasted. Even the darkest days carry value, for they teach you to treasure the light. So step forward with confidence, knowing you are exactly where I want you to be, and no force can stop you when you walk in my will. My beloved child, when I open a door, I understand that it is not the end of a journey, but the beginning of a new one. Each door marks another stage in my greater plan, a place where I continue to shape you, teach you, and lead you further. Do not imagine that stepping through will make everything perfect at once. On the contrary, new doors bring new responsibilities, new challenges, and new lessons. But take heart, for I will never allow anything beyond what you can endure. With every trial, I also provide the way to stand firm. You often think that only a great miracle will change everything. Yet I want you to learn that the true miracle is not only in sudden events, but in daily faithfulness. A miracle is when you choose to rise after you fall. A miracle is when you forgive instead of clinging to bitterness. A miracle is when you continue to pray, though you have yet to see the answer. These things shake heaven more than you realize. Like the widow who gave only 2 small coins, her simple act became proof of a great faith. Do not despise what seems ordinary, for it is the foundation of transformation. As you step through the door, there will be voices trying to hold you back. Some will come from outside: doubt, criticism, even mockery. Others will whisper from within, the old voices saying you are unworthy, that you will fail. But know this: no voice can define you, except my word. Remember how Jesus answered Satan in the wilderness. It is written, Matthew 4, "Take my word as your weapon to confront every lie. When you declare the truth, you will stand firm. Do not let falsehood defeat you. You are made in my image and called by my name. I know at times you will long for the comfort of the familiar. The safe place may feel secure, though narrow, while the future feels vast and uncertain. But true life is not behind you, it is before you. Israel longed to return to Egypt when they faced trials in the wilderness, forgetting that the place they desired was the very place of slavery. Do not let fear steal your future. If I have opened the door, it means I have prepared all that you need to walk through it. I am not calling you backward, I am calling you forward. Courage does not mean you feel no fear. Courage means you keep walking, even when your heart trembles. As I said to Joshua, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go, Joshua 1:9. That promise was not only for him, it is for you today. You are not walking alone. I go before you to make the way beside you, to sustain you and behind you, to protect you. Wherever you are, I am there. Do not forget that your steps carry influence for many others. When you remain faithful, your family is encouraged. When you live in truth, your friends are illuminated. When you love those who have never known me, begin to seek. Your life is not only your own, it is a door through which many will see my love. You are a living letter, a city on a hill, a testimony that cannot be silenced. So walk with the awareness that every small act carries eternal weight. When you grow weary, remember that I have not called you to bear the burden alone. You may stop and rest in my arms. I am the fountain that restores your soul. I give strength to the weary and power to the faint. Isaiah 4:0-9. You do not have to strive in your own strength, for my grace is sufficient for you. Come close, let me uphold you, and you will find new life to continue. The door I open for you is not one of fear but of hope. It leads to life, freedom, and lasting joy. There may be tears, but they will become seeds for a harvest. There may be trials, but they will lead to victory. There may be loss, but what you surrender will be multiplied. I promise you this: no sacrifice you make will be in vain. All will be used to reveal my glory and bring blessing into your life. My beloved, know this: when you step through the door of life, the journey is only beginning. What you thought was the final destination is only the start of a broader, deeper path. Life is not a single finish line, but a series of seasons. And in each season, I give you a lesson, a blessing, a challenge to equip you. Do not think you have arrived in fullness after a taste of success, nor despair when you are in the middle of hardship. For I say our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. 2 Corinthians 4:17. This means everything you face is not wasted. It is weaving together a glory far greater than your eyes can see. I know your heart sometimes whispers, I am too weak, too small, not strong enough for such a calling. Yet it is precisely in your weakness that my power is made perfect. I did not choose you because you were flawless. I chose you because of my love, and because through you the world will see that power belongs to me, not to human strength. As Paul wrote, we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. 2 Corinthians 4:7. You too are a jar of clay, but I have placed in you a priceless treasure, faith, love, and testimony. Let that treasure shine, for it will bring hope to those who sit in darkness. My beloved child, as you walk through life, there will be moments when you feel forgotten. You may ask yourself, does anyone notice my effort? Does anyone see the tears I shed in silence? But I tell you this, every act you do, no matter how small, I remember. Even a cup of water given to the thirsty will not lose its reward. Matthew 10:42. A whispered prayer in the night is never wasted. An honest choice made when no one is watching is a joy to me. The world may not recognize these things, but heaven always does, and your reward comes not from people, but from me. So live not for human approval, but to please me, the one who sees what is done in secret. There will be seasons when the path before you seems clouded. You may not know whether to turn left or right, whether to continue or pause. In such moments, I do not expect you to have every answer. I only want you to seek me. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Proverbs 3:6. Draw near with a sincere heart, and you will see guidance like a light piercing the darkness. At times it will not be a full map, but just one step. Yet when you take that step in faithfulness, the light will shine on the next. This is how I teach you to trust. My child, this journey is not only for your personal growth, but also for a greater mission. You are called to be a witness that your words, actions, and life itself testify that I am real. This does not mean standing on a stage to preach, but it means that in the way you live through patience, gratitude, and love, others will see me. When you forgive instead of retaliate, when you offer hope instead of despair, when you share blessings instead of clinging to them, you are bearing witness to me. The world does not need more theories, they need to see a genuine heart, and you are that heart. Never forget you are not meant to walk alone. I have placed people around you to journey with you, teachings to guide you, and angels to guard you. Seek out the community of faith, for there you will find encouragement and support. As Psalm 13:31 declares, "How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. You cannot fight alone, but when you walk in unity, you will see multiplied strength." Community is my gift, so that when you are weak, someone lifts you. When discouraged, someone cheers you. When fallen, someone helps you rise. I did not call you to a life of mediocrity, but to a life of meaning. I have given you unique gifts, unique abilities, and a unique voice. The world needs to hear that voice, for no one else can replace you. Do not belittle yourself because you are not like others. You are not called to be a copy. You are called to live fully in the design I made for you. And when you do, you will find that your life not only transforms you, but touches and transforms others. My beloved, I want you to know that the weariness you carry is not your destiny. You were not created to live a life trapped in exhaustion and worry, but to find true rest in me. I see your weary eyes from sleepless nights, your restless mind filled with unanswered questions, and your heavy heart burdened for the future. But I remind you, cast all your cares on him, for he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. This is not just comfort, it is a call. You do not have to carry everything alone. When you lay your burdens on me, you will find relief. That is, my desire for your soul. Some of your burdens come from expectations you place upon yourself, the drive to be perfect, to control every outcome, to please everyone. But you must realize this is impossible. Even Jesus, when he walked the earth, did not please everyone, for he lived to please the Father, not people. Do not trade your peace for the fleeting approval of others. I call you to live for my approval, not theirs. When you act, ask yourself, does this please the Father? If the answer is yes, then walk in peace, regardless of human praise or criticism. Learn to slow down and enter into rest with me. Rest is not laziness, but wisdom. It is like the farmer who knows that after sowing seeds he must wait patiently, not force the harvest. So too you must know when to act and when to rest in peace. If you never pause, your soul will burn out, and you will lose the sensitivity to hear my voice. Remember what I said to Moses, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Exodus 3:3-1-4. True rest is found only in my presence. The strength I want to give you does not come from striving, but from connection. When you abide in me, you are like a branch joined to the vine. As Jesus said, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing, John 1:5-5. This means your strength, creativity, joy, and endurance do not come from yourself, but from being rooted in me. Apart from me, you wither, but in me you are nourished and your soul is equipped to overcome any hardship. Train your soul like a spiritual warrior. Do not despise small disciplines, for they build endurance. Each morning prayer is training. Each moment of gratitude instead of complaint is training. Each time you resist temptation, you are training. Then when the great trials come, you will find yourself strong because you were prepared. Just as David faced Goliath not with sword or spear, but with a faith forged while guarding sheep from lions and bears, so too you are prepared in the ordinary days for extraordinary battles. Faithfulness in the small has always prepared my children for victory in the great. And you, my child, must not underestimate the training of daily life. My beloved child, I know you have often heard voices that deny your worth. At times they come from outside through words of criticism. At other times they echo within through painful memories. But I want you to measure your value by my word, not by any other voice. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139:1-4. You were redeemed by the precious blood of my only Son, which means your value is beyond compare. Do not let anyone cause you to forget this truth. Whenever you doubt yourself, declare my word, and you will feel strength rise again within you. Remember, the breakthrough you seek may be closer than you think. It does not always arrive with thunder and lightning, it often comes quietly. Be faithful in sowing, faithful in prayer, faithful in doing what is right. One day you will look back and realize that every tear, every long night, every small effort has all worked together to bring forth a great harvest. I promise that nothing is wasted. As Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." My dear child, I want you to know that you are not called to live only for yourself. Every step you take, every choice you make, every action you live out, carries an influence far greater than you realize. When you walk in the light, an entire family can be transformed. When you remain faithful, a whole generation can be inspired. When you hold to truth, even those who have never believed in me may begin to hunger for it. You are the salt of the earth and the light of the world, Matthew 5:13-14. This means your presence can shift the atmosphere, preserve life, and drive out darkness. Never underestimate the influence I have placed within your life. I know you often think you are too small, too weak to make a difference. But remember, I do not need a vast army to change the world. I only need a willing heart. I used a boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed thousands. John 6:9-13. I used Elijah's single prayer to shut the heavens for 3 years and open them again in a day. James 5:17-18. I used a broken woman at the well to bring an entire town to faith. John 4:3-9. Believe that I can use you too, no matter how small you think you are. When you offer what little you hold, I will multiply it into a miracle for many. Know this: when I place a mission upon your life, I also give you all you need to fulfill it. You are not lacking, not abandoned, not left to borrow strength from outside. Everything I want you to have has already been sown within you, waiting to grow. But you must train patiently and remain faithful step by step. Like a seed carrying an entire forest within you, too carry the potential to bring forth great change. Do not let doubt overshadow that truth. I formed you in your mother's womb. I know your name. I have numbered every hair on your head. The world may not recognize your value, but I know it, and I will reveal it in my perfect time. I call you to be a sower. Do not wait for a grand opportunity. Sow in the ordinary moments. Sow encouragement into someone's heart. Sow kindness in your workplace. Sow a prayer for a person you have never met. Each seed will grow, maybe not immediately, but surely in its appointed season. As Ecclesiastes 1:16 says, "Sow your seed in the morning and in the evening. Let your hands not be idle, for you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well. Sow and leave the rest to me. Do not fear that your efforts are in vain. I see every tear, every sigh, every hidden sacrifice. You may think no one notices, but heaven knows, and your reward is already recorded." When you persist in doing good, you are building a spiritual legacy for the generations to come. One day people will thank me for your faithfulness, even if you never meet them. This is how I work, weaving every small thread into a vast tapestry where every detail has meaning. Live with a vision beyond the present. Do not fix your eyes only on what is seen, for it will fade. Fix your eyes on the eternal, where your work will not be lost. As Colossians 3:2-3-2-4 reminds, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. Let this perspective shape everything you do. You are not just working for today, you are sowing for eternity. With that awareness, every task becomes holy, every responsibility becomes worship. Walk in the confidence that your life holds immeasurable worth. I created you to be a witness of light, to bring life to the weary, to preserve the world as salt against decay. You are an instrument in my hand. Do not believe the lies that say your presence is meaningless. You exist for a reason. You have a mission to fulfill. You carry a light to shine. Walk forward, sow the seed, shine the light, and let your life become a testimony that I am faithful and that my love has the power to transform the world. My beloved child, I want you to realize that you are stepping into a new season where nothing will be as it once was. I have been preparing you not so you could return to the past, but so you could move forward. For years you have felt as though you were walking in darkness, tested by drought, pressed by storms, yet none of it was meaningless. These very trials were the training ground for your growth. I allowed them not to crush you, but to deepen the roots of your faith, to teach you to cling to me in every circumstance. Just as trees drive their roots deeper when facing drought, so too your spirit has been strengthened in the harshest days. And now I declare the season of restoration has come, the season of renewal has begun. Remember the tears you once shed through long nights. You thought they had fallen in vain, but in truth they became seeds planted in the soil. As Psalm 1:2-6-5 says, "Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy." Do you see it now? Those tears were proof of your faith, your perseverance, your steadfastness, and they were never wasted. I have gathered each tear, I have heard every sigh, and I have turned them into streams to water the harvest that is about to break forth. When this new season unfolds, joy will overflow, and you will know that not one moment of your pain was without purpose. This new season does not mean there will be no more trials, but it does mean you will face them with a new spirit. Before you looked at challenges with fear, now you will see them as opportunities to witness my power. Before storms left you hopeless, now they will remind you that I am still in the boat with you. Before unanswered prayers discouraged you, now you will persist because you understand I work beyond human time and thought. You will realize that true renewal is not about your circumstances changing, but about your heart being transformed. When your mind is renewed, you will discover peace that surpasses understanding, and you will no longer walk as a slave to anxiety, but as one who is free in my love. I have been equipping you through every circumstance. You may think you have lost too much, but in truth you have gained more patience, humility, inner strength, and an unshakable faith. Old wounds have become radiant scars, testimonies of my faithfulness. Times when you thought you would collapse have become lessons that now keep you standing. Days of weakness have taught you that real strength does not come from you but from me. Look back and you will see a different picture, not one of failure, but of preparation. I never lead you into a new season until you are ready, and now everything is prepared for your next step. I know you still worry. Am I capable of walking this path? Am I strong enough to face what lies ahead? But my child, you do not need to see the whole plan, for I have already gone before you. I have set the path, I have arranged the people. You will meet the resources you will need and the doors you must walk through. You only need to remain faithful step by step. Just as Israel received manna each day in the wilderness, you too will receive the grace you need for today. Tomorrow's portion will come tomorrow. Do not carry the burden of a year on your shoulders. Live fully on the day I have given you. Believe this, the days ahead are not meant for fear, but for abundance. I promise that I came to give you life and life more abundantly. John 10:10. This does not mean there will be no struggles, but it means that even in struggles you will find peace, joy, and fulfillment. I do not promise to remove every storm, but I promise to give you strength to pass through them without falling. I do not promise to remove every tear, but I promise to wipe them and turn them into testimony of my glory. In this new season you will see more clearly than ever that I am your source, your firm foundation, and the one who holds your future. My beloved, I want you to know that in this new season, you are not called just to survive, but to live fully, strongly, meaningfully. I have seen you often living only to get by, doing just enough to make it through a day, holding yourself together not to collapse. But I did not create you merely to survive. I created you to overcome. You are called to rise as a spiritual warrior, to run the race set before you with faith and endurance. As Paul once wrote, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. 2 Timothy 4:7. You are not destined only to begin, but also to finish. And when you finish, you will leave behind a spiritual legacy that will encourage and strengthen those who follow. My child, I remind you that perseverance is the key that unlocks blessing. Many give up just before the miracle arrives because they lack patience. But remember, my promises are never late. They always come at their appointed time. What you see as delay is not forgetfulness, but preparation. Just as a seed must die in the soil before it sprouts, so too the promises I have spoken over you need time to come to fulfillment. Be patient. Do not give up. Do not let silence make you think I am inactive. It is in the silence that I am arranging all things. And in due time you will see the promise fulfilled. Learn to see life through the eyes of faith, not only through natural sight. With natural eyes you will see difficulties, limitations, and injustices. But with the eyes of faith, you will see opportunities, grace, and guidance. Faith does not mean denying reality, but seeing reality through my lens. When Goliath stood before them, the Israelites only saw a giant too big to defeat. But David saw a target too large to miss because he looked through faith in me. You too must learn to see every situation with the belief that I can turn all things for your good. Do not forget that faithfulness in small things is the key for me to entrust you with greater things. You may think that praying each morning is too small, forgiving someone is too small, helping a stranger is too small. But I say whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Luke 1:6-10. I test you through the little details to prepare you for greater responsibilities. Be faithful in the daily matters, and you will see larger doors open before you. I want you to remember that true strength does not lie in how much effort you exert, but in where you place your trust. When you rely on your own strength, you will quickly grow weary. But when you rely on me, you will find an inexhaustible source of power, as Isaiah 40:3-1 promises, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." Do you see? The difference is not in the circumstances, but in whom you place your hope. Let me be your source of strength, and you will overcome what once seemed impossible. Do not be afraid when you see your weakness. It is in weakness that my power is most clearly revealed. If you think you are strong enough, you will no longer need me. But when you admit your helplessness, that is when I act most powerfully. As Paul testified, "For when I am weak, then I am strong." 2 Corinthians 1:2-10. Let your weakness become the opportunity for my grace to flow. Give me your brokenness, and I will turn it into evidence of healing. Offer me your shortcomings, and I will make them the place where my glory shines. Stand firm, for this season is a season of strengthening. I will not let you walk alone. I place around you people who will support you, words of encouragement that will enlighten you, and angels who will guard you. You are not fighting in loneliness. Open your heart to the community of faith. Share your burdens with your brothers and sisters who walk beside you. When you are weak, they will lift you up. When you are weary, they will pray on your behalf. When you stumble, they will extend a hand to help. This is how I work through unity, so you will never be abandoned. My beloved, I want you to remember that every journey, no matter how long, has an end and a purpose. Your life is not a string of aimless days, but a journey with clear direction. Even when you do not see, I already see. Even when you do not understand, I already understand. Even when you hesitate, I have already prepared the way. The only thing you need to do is keep trusting. Do not think you must know all the answers before taking the next step. Learn from Abraham, who obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. Hebrews 1:18. Faith is not knowing everything in advance, but trusting that I will guide you step by step. And when you look back, you will realize that each footprint has led you to the very place I intended. In the final part of this journey, I want you to learn a great lesson: complete obedience. You may pray, you may sing praises, you may do many good works, but without obedience, you cannot fully experience my will. Obedience is not a burden, but the key to peace. When you surrender control and say, "Your will be done," you will discover a new strength pouring in. I do not force you, but I invite you. Remember that Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane also prayed, "Yet not as I will, but as you will," Matthew 2:6-9. That was the height of obedience, and through that obedience, salvation came to all humanity. I know obedience is not easy. It requires you to deny yourself, to release your own plans, and to dare to place your future in my hands. But trust that no one has ever regretted obeying me. Every time you choose my will instead of your own, you step closer to true freedom. Every time you place me at the center, you will see doors open. And every time you let go of what you think is important, you will receive something far better. Obedience is the proof of love. If you love me, you will keep my commands, John 1:4-15. And when you keep my commands, you will experience such closeness to my presence that every fear fades away. I want you to understand that this journey is not only for you, but for the generations that follow. Each step you take today leaves a mark for your descendants tomorrow. When you hold on to faith, you are sowing seeds for your lineage. When you remain faithful, you open doors for those who come after you to enter into blessing. When you walk in integrity, you lay the foundation for a lasting legacy. Do not think your efforts end in the present. They echo into the future, shaping many lives. Just as Abraham was blessed not only for himself, but so that through him all nations would be blessed. Genesis 1:2-3. So too are you called to be a channel of blessing beyond your own life. I also want to remind you that the end is not the end, but the beginning of something new. When one door closes, another will open. When one season passes, another will begin. When you say farewell to one chapter, you will welcome another. Do not fear change, for I am the one who makes all things new. Revelation 2:1-5. Learn to walk with an open heart and a vision that looks forward. Do not cling to the old, for if you keep holding on to it, you may miss the new that I am giving. Be ready, for what I prepare is always better, deeper, and more beautiful. Let gratitude be the final song of this journey. When you are thankful, your eyes will be opened to see miracles within the ordinary. When you are thankful, your heart will be guarded against bitterness. When you are thankful, joy will overflow regardless of circumstances. I want you to end this season not with complaints, but with thanksgiving. For I have been with you from the beginning to the end, and I will continue to be with you in every season to come. Remember, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. 1 Thessalonians 5:1-8. Thanksgiving will be the key that opens the next chapter of your life. My child, step forward with confidence, for I go with you. Close the past with forgiveness, live the present with faithfulness, and look to the future with hope. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are, my beloved child, chosen, called, and equipped for a great purpose. Stand firm, for your journey does not end here. This is only one chapter, and the next will be even more radiant. Trust, obey, and be thankful, and you will see my glory covering your life now and forevermore. My beloved child, I want you to understand that the new season I am opening for you is not merely an outward change of circumstances, but a renewal that goes deep into the very roots of your spiritual identity. For years, you have often defined yourself through failures, limitations, and the labels others placed upon you. You thought of yourself as a loser, an abandoned one, someone not good enough to stand in my presence. But now I come to remove every false label and to declare the truth. You are no longer a victim of the past, but a new creation in Christ. As my word says in 2 Corinthians 5:1-7, therefore if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away, behold, all things have become new. Do you see, child? This new identity is not a temporary cloak you put on, but a new nature I have given you, woven into every breath and every step you take. In the days gone by, you allowed fear and shame to define who you were. You looked at old wounds and thought they determined your worth. You listened to words of rejection and criticism and let them take root as truth within your heart. But my child, I declare to you that these things no longer have power over you. When my Son was crucified, he carried every curse, every wound, every shame that weighed upon you. And when he proclaimed, "It is finished," John 1:9-30, true freedom began. The old identity was nailed to the cross, and you were raised into a new identity, beloved, chosen and destined for glory. Never again allow the voice of the past to silence my voice in the present. Do not let painful memories overshadow the truth that you now stand in a new position, the position of one who is victorious. You may ask, but how can I know that I am truly renewed? How can I believe that you have removed the sins and mistakes that once clung to me? Look back and see how I have led you. Every time you stumbled, I lifted you up. Every time you turned away, I waited for you. Every time you wept in darkness, I sent a faint light to guide your steps. None of this was by chance. It was proof that my love is greater than any pit of sin. You are not defined by the times you fell, but by my unchanging love. And that love is the foundation of your new identity. I want you to no longer see yourself through the lens of weakness, but through the lens of grace. It is not about who you are, but about who I am in you that is the key to walking into this new season. Imagine yourself as a seed once buried in the dark soil. For a long time, nothing could be seen. Even you thought you had disappeared. Yet in truth, that was the season of germination, the time when I was at work in the silence. The tears you shed watered that seed. The prayers you whispered in loneliness were the first rays of light. And now that seed has sprouted, breaking through the ground, becoming a living, thriving plant. You are no longer the seed hidden beneath the earth. You are the young tree standing firm in the light. Renewal of identity is not just a matter of relabeling. It is new life bursting forth from within. I want you to trust this process, for it is my handiwork in your life. My beloved child, I know that many times you have compared yourself to others. You looked at their success, their completeness, and thought you were lesser, that you could never measure up. But I say to you, you were not created to be a copy of anyone else. You were made in my image, unique and distinct. Within you are marks, gifts, and potential that belong to no one else. If you keep chasing after someone else's image, you will lose the richness of the identity I designed for you. Remember, David did not wear Saul's armor to face Goliath. He only needed his staff and a few stones, what was familiar to him, and I used those very things to bring victory. In the same way, you do not need to imitate anyone. You only need to walk in the true identity I have given you. And I will take what is small and turn it into something great. Renewal in spiritual identity does not mean you will no longer experience weakness, but it does mean that weakness will no longer define you. You may still face temptation. You may still stumble, but the difference is that now you know to whom you belong. You no longer wander aimlessly in the darkness, for you have a place in the light. Each time you return, you are restored. Each time you call upon me, you are strengthened. It is my presence within you that stands as the undeniable evidence that you have been renewed. Let this identity shape the way you see yourself, the way you confront trials, and the way you walk through life. You are no longer a captive bound by chains, but a child of the one who sets free. You are no longer fragile and powerless, but a warrior in my kingdom. You are no longer an outsider, but an heir to the eternal inheritance of the Spirit. My child, I want you to be careful with your words and thoughts, for they carry the power either to reinforce or to undermine the new identity I have given you. If you continually repeat, "I am weak, I am helpless, I am not enough," those very words will become the chains that bind you. But if you begin to declare the truth, "I am the beloved child of God, I am forgiven, I am renewed," then those words will build faith and secure you in your true identity. As Proverbs 1:8-21 declares, "Life and death are in the power of the tongue." I want you to choose life to declare the truth so that your new identity may take root more deeply and bear fruit abundantly. Never forget that this new identity is not only a privilege but also a responsibility. You have been renewed not for boasting but for witnessing. When others see the transformation in you from fear to courage, from despair to hope, from weakness to strength, they will know that my power is at work. Your new identity is a living testimony, a lamp shining in the darkness. Let your life be a mirror that reflects my light so that many others may be drawn closer. That is the very purpose of renewal, not only for your sake, but so that through you many may also be renewed. My beloved, I say to you that from this day forward walk as one who has been renewed. Lift up your head, for you are no longer bound by shame. Be strong, for you are no longer defined by failure. Rejoice, for you no longer dwell in darkness. Live free, for you have been forgiven and are deeply loved. Each morning as you rise, remind yourself, "I am a new creation. I live in the love of the Father. I walk in grace and truth." And as you live in this way, every step you take will stand as a powerful testimony that a new season has truly begun. My dear child, as I lead you into this new season, I do not only desire that you be renewed in identity, but also that you understand the responsibility and commissioning that come with it. This season is not given merely for you to sit back and enjoy blessings, but so that you may become an instrument for the work of my kingdom. You are not called merely to survive, but to bring life to others. I have redeemed you, not only to keep you safe, but to make you light and salt in the midst of the world. Remember, when a candle is lit, it does not only shine for itself, but it gives light to the whole room. So it is with you. You are called to bring my light into the places still covered in darkness. My child, for many years I have been training you in the quiet, not to waste your time, but to prepare you. The tears you have shed, the times you have persevered in prayer, the seasons that seemed meaningless, all of these have been the foundation for the mission ahead. Do not think that the years past were only endless waiting. In truth, they were years of sowing, and now the harvest has come. You have learned obedience, you have learned to trust, you have learned to endure, and now I declare to you, what you have learned will become your weapons, your resources for service in this new season. Your mission does not begin from perfection, but from willingness. I am not seeking those who appear strong in the eyes of the world. I am seeking those who will say, "Here am I, Lord, send me." You will come to realize that the commissioning in this season is not confined to distant places, but is unfolding right within your family, your work, and your community. I do not require you to wait until you stand on a pulpit or face a large congregation before you begin to live out your calling. Every conversation, every small act, every sincere prayer is part of the mission entrusted to you. When you comfort someone in sorrow, you are revealing my heart. When you forgive one who has wounded you, You are proclaiming the gospel through your very life. When you remain faithful in small tasks, you are helping to expand my kingdom. Do not despise the little things, for in my hands the smallest offering can become a miracle. Just as the 5 loaves and 2 fish only became nourishment for thousands when they were surrendered, so too will the things you entrust to me become a source of life for many. My beloved child, your responsibility in this new season also involves becoming a sower. Every prayer you lift is a seed. Every act of love, every word of encouragement, every quiet sacrifice is a seed planted in the hearts of others. You may not see the fruit immediately, but I assure you that seeds sown in faith will bear fruit in due time. As it is written in Galatians 6:9, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." Be steadfast in sowing, for the harvest of the Spirit is drawing near, and many will be saved through your faithfulness. Do not think that what you do has only a small impact. A seed may appear insignificant, but when it grows, it can become a great tree where the birds of the air find shelter. Your part is to sow. Mine is to nurture and bring forth the harvest. My child, to be commissioned also means you must be willing to step beyond your comfort zone. There will be times when I call you to do what you never imagined, to go where you never desired, and to meet people you did not expect. Yet remember this: no calling will ever stretch beyond my grace. When I called Moses, he trembled and claimed he was slow of speech. When I called Jeremiah, he said he was too young. But my answer to them was, "I will be with you." That same promise remains true for you. You do not need to possess every skill before you step forward. You only need to believe that I will supply everything you require along the way. Your responsibility is obedience. Mine is provision and guidance. My dear one, in your mission, I also call you to be a builder, not a destroyer, to bring healing, not harm, to sow hope, not fear. The world is filled with criticism, judgment, and despair, but you are called to embody a different spirit. Let your words edify, let your actions bring restoration, and let your presence carry an atmosphere of peace. When you enter a room, I want the very atmosphere to shift. When you encounter a broken soul, I want you to be the outstretched hand of my compassion. This commissioning is not a temporary task, but a lifelong way of living. You are not merely called to perform certain deeds, but to become an instrument through which my love and grace flow continually. In this new season, your responsibility also includes preserving holiness. You cannot be a useful vessel if you allow yourself to be defiled by impurity. I do not call you to live in flawless perfection by human standards, but I call you to be set apart for me. Just as the vessels in the temple were reserved for sacred use, so your life must be wholly dedicated to me. Do not allow temptations to pull you away from your purpose. Every time you resist sin, you strengthen your place in this mission. Every time you choose obedience, you draw nearer to the fullness of my plan. The calling cannot be separated from holiness, and holiness itself is the shield that guards you from the schemes of the enemy. My child, do not forget that the greatest responsibility within the commission is love. If you can prophesy, perform miracles, and preach to thousands, but have no love, then all becomes meaningless. 1 Corinthians 1:3. I have not sent you merely to do the work, but first and foremost, to love. Love me with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Love is the driving force, the source, and the true sign of the commission. When you love, others will recognize you as my disciple. Love is the universal language that every soul understands, and it is also the most powerful weapon against the darkness. My beloved, the commission in this new season is both a privilege and a responsibility. It is not a burden meant to crush you, but an opportunity to participate in my eternal plan. You are not alone on this journey. My Spirit will strengthen you, my angels will uphold you, and the community of faith will walk beside you. All I ask is that you be willing to say yes and take the step forward. And as you obey, you will witness miracles not because of your own ability, but because of my faithfulness. Your responsibility is not to produce results, but to remain faithful in action. The results belong to me, and I promise they will surpass all that you could ask or imagine. Therefore, my child, rise in this new season with a ready heart. Open your eyes to see the fields already ripe for harvest. Open your ears to hear the cry of lost souls. Open your heart to become a channel of grace. You are called to be a light, not hidden under a basket, a lamp not placed under a bed, but set upon a stand to give light to everyone in the house. Matthew 5:1-5. Your commission is no longer something distant, but a present reality. Step forward, for the new season has come, and I am seeking those who are ready to answer the call. My beloved, I want you to know that every step you take today does not end with the present, but leaves a mark upon generations to come. You may think that small decisions and quiet actions matter only for a moment, but in truth, they echo through many lifetimes. I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. My promises are not for one generation alone, but for an entire lineage. When Abraham obeyed and left his homeland to go where I directed, he not only received blessing for himself, but opened a stream of blessing for his descendants forever. In the same way, your faithful choices today will become the foundation of a spiritual inheritance for your lineage. You may think yourself too small, that your life holds nothing significant to leave behind for those who follow. But my child, true legacy is not measured by wealth, fame, or the grand works of men. True legacy is faith passed down, prayers that continue to resound, and the witness of steadfastness even in trials. When you kneel and pray for your children, those words become a shield of protection over them. When you live with integrity, the generations after you will be encouraged to walk in truth. When you love, that love will flow through the bloodline, reaching even those who may never meet you face to face. Legacy is not in what you keep, but in what you sow. And the seeds of the Spirit always bear fruit beyond what the natural eye can see. My child, I want to remind you that Scripture has often warned about the consequences when a generation is not instructed in my ways. After Joshua and the elders of his time had passed away, a new generation arose who did not know the Lord, nor the works he had done for Israel. Judges 2:10. The result was corruption and downfall spreading among the people. This stands as a warning to every generation. If faith is not passed down, it will be lost. You cannot allow this to happen in your lineage. Your responsibility is not only to live out the faith, but to hand it on. Do not assume that your children will know me on their own. They must be guided, they must hear, they must see the example lived before them, and you are my first messenger within your family. The legacy I desire for you to build is not only for your bloodline, but also for the greater community. Look around you. There are young people searching for direction, souls wandering in confusion, and new generations that need to be nurtured. You are called to be a sower of hope, to strengthen them, to stand firm, and to teach them how to live in truth. Remember Timothy, the young man who became a useful servant because his grandmother Lois and his mother Eunice faithfully sowed faith in him from childhood. 2 Timothy 1:5. In the same way, you can become an inspiration, an example for a generation you may never have imagined. Your prayers may uphold a weary soul, and your words of teaching may open the path for a young one to step into their calling. My child, I want you to see the broader vision. When you are faithful today, you are partaking in the eternal tapestry. I do not see you merely as an individual, but as a link in my greater plan. Like the cornerstone in a building project, it may appear small, but without it, the whole structure cannot stand firm. You are that cornerstone I am using to raise up a new generation. Every word you speak, every action you take, every choice you make contributes to shaping this legacy. Never underestimate the value of faithfulness. Your steadfastness will stand as a resounding testimony to those who come after you, declaring that God remains faithful through all generations. Beloved, spiritual legacy is also written in both your victories and your trials. The scars in your life are not marks of defeat, but testimonies of preservation and healing. When you share these stories with the next generation, they will learn that God never abandons His children. It is the real stories, the costly lessons, the personal testimonies that will inspire more deeply than any sermon. Do not be afraid to tell your children and grandchildren that you were once weak, but God was your strength. That you were once fearful, but He gave you peace. That you were once in need, but He provided. These testimonies will become guiding lights for the generations to come. My dear child, I also want you to know that legacy is not left only in words, but in the atmosphere you create. When your home is saturated with prayer, my presence will abide. When meals are lifted up with thanksgiving, the next generation will learn the value of gratitude. When conflicts are resolved with forgiveness, your children will learn the power of love. The spiritual atmosphere within a family is the invisible seed sown into the hearts of the young. You may not leave behind much wealth, but if you leave behind a home filled with my presence, that is an inheritance of immeasurable worth. I know there are times you worry. Can my efforts truly change a generation? Do the small things I do really carry lasting impact? My child, do not fear. I declare that if you are faithful, I will do the rest. Just as a mustard seed can grow into a great tree, your small faithfulness will yield great fruit. My promise never changes, but from everlasting to everlasting, the Lord's steadfast love is with those who fear Him, and His righteousness with their children's children. Psalm 103:17. Do you see? The blessing does not end with you, but flows to your descendants and even to generations yet unborn. Remember, building a legacy requires patience. Just as a planter does not see fruit overnight, so too does spiritual legacy take time to sprout and bear fruit. You may not immediately see transformation in the younger generation, but do not grow weary. Every prayer, every seed of love, every act of faithfulness is recorded in heaven. One day you will behold the harvest not only in this life but also in eternity. I promise that your labor in the Lord is never in vain. 1 Corinthians 1:5-8. The legacy you leave will continue to bear fruit even after you step into eternity. Beloved child, live with a vision beyond a single lifetime. Live like Abraham, who did not see every promise fulfilled while on earth, yet still believed and waited in faith. Sow seeds with the conviction that one day the next generation will reap. Be faithful today, because you are not living only for yourself, but also for those who will walk in your footsteps. Your legacy will not be confined within your family, but will resound into the community, the nation, and even to the nations of the earth. And when you stand before my throne on the last day, you will see thousands upon thousands of souls touched because of your faithfulness. Thank you for listening to today's message. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so we may continue to receive the living words together, build an unshakable faith, and walk in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.